it's Alice and welcome to another reading vlog. So because it is spooky season, I am very much in the mood for reading some books about witches. So that's what this whole vlog is going to be about. I have 4 books that I may not be able to read all of these for this vlog, but these are the ones that I'm going to try to read and pick between, and they're all about witches and I'm very excited about them. Now, I feel like I'm always searching for the perfect witch book. And for me, that means that the story is set in our world, so it's not necessarily set in a fantasy world, although one of the books I have here is set in a fantasy world, and I'm gonna give that a go as well. But I'm looking for like a book set in our world about witches, and I maybe prefer it to be historical fiction, although I don't really know. Probably. And that's like what I'm looking for. And it's weirdly difficult to find in books for some reason. So I have some that I think are gonna be like that, and then I have a couple that might not be, but I'm gonna try them out anyway. I have these 4 books, and I'm not gonna tell you about all of them now, I'm just gonna tell you about them as we go along, but I need to pick one to start with, and I'm pretty sure I know which one I want to start with. I think it's gonna be The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is, as far as I remember, a prequel to Practical Magic, which I read last year and I really enjoyed, and I'm pretty sure this is set like a generation before or something, and I think maybe we get to read about the ants that we meet in Practical Magic, which sounds really cool. To me, I really enjoyed Practical Magic, although I wish there was more actual magic in it, so hopefully there will be a bit more of that in here. I also just love this cover. It's very autumnal. It fits well with the background we have going on in here, and I'm excited to start this. I hope that this is going to be as like easy to read as Practical Magic. I imagine it will be. Practical Magic was quite a quick read for me, and hopefully this will be that as well, because my reading mood is not like amazing, and all of these books are kind of like, they're not chunky, but they're not like super short, so hopefully reading this book will improve my reading mood, and I hope I'm gonna love it. I'll update you once I've made some progress on this, and I can't wait to get going with these like witch books. I love the fact that it's fall and it's October, which is one of my favorite months, and it's just, I don't know, it's the perfect time of year. It makes me like, it always puts me in a really good mood, and it makes me really excited to read, so I can't wait to like dive into all of these books, but I'm gonna start with this one. So it's been a few days and I've made some good progress on this book. I'm on page 108 and the book is about like 350 pages, I think. So I feel like I've made some good progress and I am really enjoying this. This book is giving me the exact same like feeling that Practical Magic did. There's something about the writing that makes me feel really nostalgic, and I really enjoy it. It's like easy to read, but I feel like I can picture everything really easily. And we follow 3 siblings in this book. We follow 2 girls and a boy, and the 2 girls are the ants that we meet in Practical Magic. So this is sort of their life before everything that happens in that book. And we just see them grow up and come into their magic and go to this house that's also in Practical Magic and sort of come into their powers and like try to figure out who they are and where they come from. I'm really enjoying the fact that I feel like there's more actual magic in this book. I felt like in Practical Magic it was sort of there, but it was more in the background, and in this book I feel like it's really present, and we see these young people sort of come of age and they try to figure out like what their powers are, and like one of the girls can talk to birds, and now she has this like crow that's her friend, which is really sweet, and the other one can sort of read thoughts. The brother is kind of mysterious. Like there's been some stuff with him where he is sort of, I think, sort of seen where he ends up, and it's not good, but we don't really know what it is yet. I don't think the book has mentioned the time period it's set in. I don't think it's made any reference to the time, but I feel like it's set in like 50s, 60s, or 70s or something. Practical Magic is set in the 90s, I think. So I guess this would be more like 50s and 60s. And I'm really, really enjoying that as well. Like, I feel like the settings and all of that, I just love all of it. I'm hoping I'm gonna have some time to sit down with this and really like read quite a lot in the next couple of days. The parts that I've read now, I've sort of read just a little bit here and there. I'm like a little busy, so I'm just trying to like squeeze in reading when I can. And this weekend, I'm going to a wedding, so I don't think I'll be able to do that much reading, but maybe on Sunday I'll get to like read a good chunk in this. I feel very immersed in the story and in this world, so it would be nice to just like sit down and just dive in and try to read like a good chunk all in one go. I think that would be really nice. Also, while I've got you here, I want to show you my new bookmark. I got this in the mail yesterday. It's this one. I ordered it from basically Brit's online shop. She designs these and she has them in like several different colors and I have 3 of them, I think, because I just think they're so pretty, and it has like these shiny bits and it matches my book, which for some reason makes me very happy. I have finished this book now and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was lovely. I do really like these kinds of stories with like magic in them, and I really enjoyed the 3 siblings that we meet in here and getting to see their lives and their stories and sort of get to see how everything that happens in here sort of ties in with the characters that we meet in Practical Magic. I think I mentioned it, but there really is just something about the writing style in these books that I really, really like and enjoy. And I really enjoyed all of the different settings that we get to go in this book. Like, part of it is set in New York, part of it is set in this small town in Massachusetts, and then we even get to go to Paris, which I thought was really fun. I can't help but compare this to Practical Magic because they're in the same series and the stories have a lot of similarities to them. But I would say that I probably prefer this one, actually. I think I like the time period a little bit more, and I felt like the exploration of the magic was a little bit better. Like in Practical Magic, I felt like the magic was very much in the background, which worked. But in this one, I felt like we got to read more about it, which I thought was really fun. And I also think that I felt a little bit more of a connection to the characters in this book. I think one of the things that adds another layer to this book is the historical setting. It's set in like the 50s and 60s, and although the story focuses very much on these characters, it also takes a look at what happened during that time. Like, there were different kinds of riots for all kinds of different rights that people should have. And then there's also the Vietnam War going on in the background, which I thought was very, very interesting. I think maybe because Practical Magic came out like 25 years ago, which is kind of funny. When I looked that up, I was like, oh, I'm about as old as the book. I'm not. I'm older. I just forget how old I am. But because that book came out like a long time ago and this is a little bit more of a newer release, I think that maybe the author's style has gotten a little bit better and a little bit more refined, and I think that the balance of the different elements in this book work a little bit better, and I think maybe that's just because the author has had more practice, and so the book is just, it just gets a little bit better. These books are also about love in a lot of ways, and you all know me, I'm not a particularly huge romance reader, but I quite enjoy it in these books. I feel like the romance is not like too overbearing or too cringy. It's just like nice and a little sad and just well balanced. I think one of the reasons that I really enjoy this series, like, I can see how it might not blow everyone away, but I think the reason that I personally really enjoy it is that, like I mentioned, I just love stories about witches set in our world, and I think that love comes out of my favorite TV series that I watched when I was growing up, and that show was Charmed. and I was obsessed with that show. Like, you have no idea. And to be fair, I still kind of am, and I just loved it so much. And I think that ever since I watched that, I've been looking for those kinds of stories in like book form, and this is the closest I think I've gotten to it. It also reminds me that I need to rewatch Charmed, because it's been a couple of years, I think, since I last watched it. Do any of you remember when that show was still on? Like, did any of you also watch it? I feel like I'm sure there are some of you that were as obsessed with it as I was, but I think that show started in like 1998, which also makes me feel very old, but whatever. If you watched it, I would love to know like what your favorite seasons were. I feel like people sort of lean into two different camps. Like, you either really liked the seasons with Prue or the ones with Paige. I lean more towards the Paige seasons, actually. Like, I feel like the seasons in the middle were the best ones. I do also know that they made a newer version of Charmed. I watched the trailer when it came out a couple of years ago, and I just honestly wasn't that interested, because I felt like the show, like the new one, leans more towards like a younger audience, and I am no longer a part of that audience. But if any of you have seen it, I would love to know what you thought. I do think that the representation in the new show looks quite a lot better than in the old one, so at least that's cool. Either way, moving away from my little tangent about Charmed, I very much enjoyed this, and I know that there is another book in the series that I'm definitely going to read at some point, and I'm already looking forward to it. But the next book I'm gonna pick up is A Secret History of Witches. I've actually already started this book and made quite a lot of progress. Like, I am flying through this book. The story starts off in France in the early 1800s, where we meet this group of Romani witches who are on the run because people have started hunting witches, and obviously they're running away from that. And there's a scene in the beginning of the book where like the grandmother of the family uses magic to hide the family, like hide the group from the people who are hunting them, and they eventually make it out of France and to England, where they settle down on a farm. The back of the book says that we follow 5 generations of witches, and so the book is split into 5 different parts. I'm currently on the second one. The first part followed one of the witches that got out of France and made it to England, and the second part is about her daughter. So I'm guessing that like the next 3 parts are about like her daughter, and then her daughter, and then her daughter. The magic in here is really interesting so far, and the closest thing I can relate it to is the religion Wicca. Like, they have a lot of the same holidays, and based on my very limited knowledge of Wicca, they seem to have some of the same rituals and things like that, so I'm really enjoying that. I do think that the book is mostly like about this family and them struggling and like trying not to get caught, and it seems like they're quite worried about the craft sort of dying out, because there are several like women in this family and not all of them have the craft, but they're still like keeping up with the traditions and all of that. And there is like a magical object in here as well, which is pretty cool. Like I said though, I'm flying through this book. Like, it's very fun and easy to read, and I'm really enjoying the setting. Like, the place that we're at now at this farm, I can really picture, and these witches, like of the family, the women, go to this like little cave where they've set up an altar and all of that. Like, I love all of that. It's really cool, and it's just very easy to read, and I'm very excited to see like what happens in each generation, and like what happens to the magic, and like what they do, and all of it is just very intriguing. Now, because it is October, let's have a little break away from the books, and let me show you some stuff that I've gotten from my apartment lately. I usually don't feel like redecorating my apartment, but there's something about fall that really makes me want to like decorate for the season. I think it's just because it's my favorite season, and I do feel like I live in the wrong country for this. Like, I've seen some stores and like vlogs of people going to stores in like America and the UK, and they find all of these like cute and pretty decorations for fall. That's not really a thing here. Like, it's really difficult to find for whatever reason. Probably because I guess Halloween isn't really a huge thing here, so it's difficult to find like cute and pretty fall decorations. But I've found some stuff that puts me in like the autumn mood, I guess. So let me show you. So the first thing I've gotten is this like bundle of straws that I just liked the look of. I feel like it's a good mix of like fall and a little bit spooky because this stuff is like black and I don't know. I just thought it looked cool. I've also found these like pumpkin candles that I thought looked really cool. There's like a big one, a small one, and I've just put these on this black tray, which I feel like goes with the spooky theme. And in here we also have this candle from Alchemy and Ink, which is actually a practical magic inspired candle, which fits this vlog very well. And it says right here, there's a little witch in all of us. I actually haven't burned this one yet, but it does smell really, really good. The last thing I got is maybe the thing that I'm most excited about, and I haven't even unwrapped these yet because I just got them. I got 2 new mugs, which I'm very excited about because apparently I'm the kind of person who gets really excited about mugs. Now, first of all, I feel like we need to appreciate this like packaging because it looks so good. This is one of those boxes that looks so cool that I kind of want to keep it, even though I don't know what I would use it for. I guess you always need a box, so I might end up keeping this, but like the design on this one is just amazing. So in here we have got this super cool looking mug. If I can just get it out, it looks like this, which is so cool. The mug is just like black on the outside, but it has this Ouija inspired design on the inside, and I just think it looks so cool. And one of the reasons I got this mug is that it's quite big, and so I can make like a huge cup of hot chocolate whenever I use this. Now, I would never actually like use a Ouija board, I don't think, because I don't know, for some reason I don't believe in any of that stuff, but for some reason it freaks me out nonetheless. But I do like the design of these types of things, even though I'm not a believer, I guess. The second mug I got looks like this, and I will take it out of the package so you can see, and also because I'm not actually gonna keep it in the package, obviously, because I want to use it. So this one has like a cauldron on it, and it says stirring up magic, and it has a black rim, which I think is a really nice detail, and it has this matching spoon, which says spells. And one of the reasons I really like this mug is that you can actually put the spoon here, which for some reason just makes me like really happy. I probably didn't need like 2 new mugs or any new mugs, if I'm completely honest, but you know, that's what happens when you're an adult and it's spooky season and you have adult money and you can do what you want. So I finished this book now, yay, and I read it really fast and it was great, although I will say I probably feel like it started off a little bit stronger than it ended. So like I said, the book is split into 5 parts, and in each part we meet a woman who is a witch, and they're all from the same line of witches, so we sort of get to follow this line through the times. And the last part is actually set during the Second World War, so this whole book is like, I guess the timeline is like mid-1800s to around like the 1940s. Now, although I did enjoy this, one of the main reasons it sort of lost me a little bit towards the end is that I feel like one of the main conflicts in this book is that these women are witches, and because of that, people want to hurt them. Like, they're in danger and they can't tell people that they're witches because people will chase after them because you're not allowed to be a witch. And I felt like in the beginning of the book, like the first 2 parts, that was very real. Like there were actually people chasing after them and they were in actual danger. Whereas I felt like in the last parts, it's sort of like they keep telling us that they need to hide and that they're in danger, but there's no actual danger there, if you know what I mean. Like I know from history, like myself, I know that being a witch during those times, it would have put you in danger, but I don't feel like there was any actual danger in the book. Like I felt like it just told us and didn't do like a super good job at actually showing us. In the last 2 parts especially, I felt like it sort of lacked that suspense. Although in the final part, there is a world war going on, so there is danger, but the danger is coming from the war and not the magic part. I also do think that although I flew through this book, it is a little bit long, and I do think that Like, there are some huge similarities between all of the different parts in here, like especially some of them are very similar, and some of the women we follow are very similar, and I think it would have been cool with a little bit more variety. That being said though, I loved the exploration of like the relationships between mothers and daughters and getting to see like this world throughout the times. Like, I loved all of the different settings and like the way that the time period was captured. Like, all of that was great. I don't really have that much more to say about this. I enjoyed it. It was a little bit long and could have had some more stuff happen, maybe especially towards the end, but like overall it was a very good read and it was definitely worth my time. Now, I have started yet another book. It is this one. It's The Witches of New York. I'm not gonna finish it for this vlog because I feel like it's time to sort of round this off, but I can tell you that I'm really enjoying this so far. It's set in, as I'm sure you can gather by the title, New York, and it's set in the year 1880, and we meet these witches who run a tea shop, and they sort of do all kinds of things for people that include magic. And we also meet this young woman who's like 17, I think, who has just left her home to come work for these witches in the tea shop. And I don't know if anyone knows yet or if she even knows yet, but I get the sense that she is also a witch somehow. I don't really know, I just get that sense. And she has just made it to the tea shop after a very interesting train ride. We also meet a reverend in here who is on the hunt to catch witches because he really doesn't like them and he thinks that they're evil. And he like caught someone that he, like there was just a scene where he caught someone that he thought was a witch, and that part was like really disturbing. But then there's also this demon lurking about that has something to do with the Reverend. So I don't know how much of his like insanity is his religion and how much of it is this demon's influence. I have no idea, but there's a demon lurking about. And there's also some other creatures wandering about that have something to do with like visions and dreams or something. And now that I'm summarizing, there is a lot going on in this book already. There are also ghosts in this book, now that I think about it. All of this so far is really interesting and I'm really enjoying it, and I do really like the fact that there are like magical creatures in here and it feels kind of like dark, and I do like that sort of like witch hunting trope, which is obviously horrible, but it makes for very intriguing reading. Now, this book is one of those books that when you like look at it, it doesn't look like a very long book, but it's actually deceptively long. It's like 550 pages, which I feel like you can't tell when you just look at it. But it's a little bit of a longer book, and I'm on page 136, so I'm about a fifth of the way through, and it's gonna take me a while to finish this, I think, which is fine. I do have to try and read some longer books sometimes. I usually lean towards like 300-page books, but I'm gonna make my way through this and hopefully it will be very good. I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on, so I feel like there's gonna be enough excitement to fill this whole thing. Because this is a little bit of a longer book though, I actually tried listening to the audiobook of this. So I started this off with the audiobook, and if you've been around for a while, you will know that I don't really listen to audiobooks, but I do try them every once in a while. I don't know what it is, but I just can't get into them. Like, I don't know why, if it's just me or if it's the audiobooks, but like the one for this, when I started listening to it, it felt very like monotone to me, which is weird because I feel like audiobooks should be a little bit more engaging or like not monotone, I guess. And I can't tell if it's me that's the problem or the audiobooks that I'm trying, but I like every once in a while I'll try them and I just cannot listen to them. I just kicked the tripod, so sorry if the angle shifted a little bit, but yeah, I'm probably gonna end up reading the rest of this in physical form because I think that listening to that audiobook is gonna put me to sleep. But speaking of audiobooks, I would love to know if any of you have any recommendations for audiobooks. Preferably something that you think that I would like if you've been around for a while, you probably know my taste in books, so if you have any recommendations for audiobooks you think I would listen to and like genres you think I would like, I would love to know because I do want to get into them. I think it could be great if I can just find the right one. This one is not the right one though. Now before we go, I thought I would just quickly show you one of the books that I showed you in the beginning of this vlog that I didn't end up reading, but I just thought I would tell you about because it's about witches and it fits the theme of this vlog. It's this one, it's Witches Steeped in Gold. And this is set in, I think this is like straight up fantasy. So it's set in a fantasy world, whereas the other ones that I read for this vlog have been set in our world. This is straight up fantasy. And if I remember correctly, it's about two rivaling witches who band together to fight a common enemy. And it's like Jamaican inspired, which is one of the reasons I got it. And I also got it because this cover is obviously beautiful. I'm pretty sure this is also set on an island. And it says on the back here that one of the witches have come from this like overthrown dynasty and she has lived in exile. And then the other witch, who I think she like teams up with, is the daughter of whoever took over that empire or something. And there is a woman who threatens to take down both of their worlds. And it's all about revenge and how far you will go to win. And all of that sounds very interesting. I will definitely get to this at some point. She said about all the books that she's ever gotten, and half the time it's a lie, but whatever. I do think I will actually read this at some point, just not right now, because I do love books about witches, obviously, and this looks like a relatively quick read, and this cover really is very good, so I don't think I can get rid of it until I've actually read it. But yeah, I think that's gonna be the end of this vlog. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I would love to know what your favorite witch book is, or if you've read any of the books that I mentioned and what you thought, or you can tell me about your favorite witch series or witch movie or whatever, really. Tell me all about it and I will see you soon. Bye!